All right, guys, that's it. The season's done. Let's take a look back at the season. We'll probably not talk too much about the game. It was another loss. We expected it, although you can't always expect it. Plus, Wizards win, baby. Let's talk about the season, what we liked, what we didn't like, what to look forward to. It's Hoops Nerd postgame show and season finale. All right, guys. So the Utah Jazz lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they officially have the #1 spot going into the NBA lottery night. It's going to be wild. If you're like me, you're going to be absolutely a wreck. I'm going to take that day off because there's just no way for me to focus that day. It's got to happen, and we're going to I'm going to go live on the playback and then simulcast it here, and I might do a lot of that going forward again. I really, really, really want to enjoy that with you guys, so you can watch it with me on the playback. I don't think we can actually stream it on the playback because I don't know if they are going to have that as an option, but we can watch live together or be happy together if we get 2, 3, or 4. So we can do that together. About the game, not a lot to say. A lot of things that have been going on lately happened again. Keontae George didn't shoot the ball well. He has not shot the ball well for about a month. He did play 48 minutes, which is pretty awesome in and of itself. The shooting was not good tonight, probably because his shooting's not been very good lately. I don't know if he's tired, whatever. The shooting's not been great. He's had moments this year where it's been good, and this month was not it. But that's the biggest thing of note this game. Not much else. Oscar Tshiebwe did have a block on Rudy Gobert. I'm just going to enjoy this one. We're just going to be petty. Because how is Rudy getting blocked by Oscar Tshiebwe? First off, got blocked by the rim, then by Tshiebwe. I don't know. That trade was worth it. I'm not going to lie. Because guess what? Utah is now set up for the future in an incredible way. We have talked and talked and talked. The last 3 seasons, the first 2 post Rudy Gobert, post Donovan Mitchell, we know what the Jazz should have done. We've talked about it many, many times. And what the Jazz should have done didn't happen. It happened at both trade deadlines, those first 2 seasons, but it wasn't enough. Utah ends up with Taylor Hendricks and Keontae George, Bryce Sensabaugh that season. And then last season ends up with Cody Williams, who it's not working out. Sorry, if you can hear that, I guess the dryer that's my washer. Sorry. Dog and pony show here. Are we done? I got some wash to switch here soon. Anyways, they get Cody Williams, Kyle Filipowski, and Isaiah Collier last year. And Utah has, 6 prospects to look at. I don't know, I like a lot of things about the different prospects. I love Keontae George. His skill level is incredible, but what is it? The efficiency is just not where it needs to be. It's just not after 2 seasons. But it's 2 seasons. Can we give him a chance to actually prove himself? We have Taylor Hendricks, who shows incredible... and the other thing with Keontae George is the defense got to be better. It's got to be better. Thank you, Robert Hall of Fame. I appreciate it. Taylor Hendricks showed incredible defensive potential. Has a lot of things to be excited about on the defensive end. He has shot the ball well from 3, pretty consistently well. He's also been a little too tentative. He's not been super impactful on the offensive end. And honestly, on the defensive end, I would like to see a little more impact from him. And then, of course, we know what happened at the beginning of the season. We saw him come in. He looked really strong. He looked bigger. And then had a catastrophic leg injury, like 3 games in. So there goes again. I know you guys can't hear it, but it sets me up. All right. Whatever. Sorry, it's throwing me off. Bryce Sensabaugh, and this is kind of a theme with all these Jazz young prospects. Incredible shooting this year from Bryce Sensabaugh. Incredible. Like, his catch and shoot numbers are bonkers. He is an absolutely lethal shooter. He also has an incredible turnover problem, and I also feel like the defense with him is also an issue. So those three players, there's things to be excited about. There's also very clear flaws with this team or with those players. So we'll see. I do feel like, Taylor Hendricks, it sucks because this would have been a great season to just get some development. And I think, honestly, that's my prediction for next year is it's going to be another development year for whoever the Jazz draft this upcoming draft, and also for players like Taylor Hendricks, Keontae George, Sensabaugh, Collier, Filipowski, and yes, Cody Williams. Going on with this same theme, Utah Jazz drafting players who have potential but have flaws, and that's what's happened. They get Filipowski. The offensive output from Filipowski is beyond what I expected. He had, for a good part of the season, shot the ball from three extremely well, was pushing 40% at one point. I mean, we were looking for it, and then he went into a slump kind of around when Keontae George did as well. And his three-point shot went down to about 35% when it was around 39 for a lot of the season. So next year is going to be really fun for Filipowski. I also have question marks with the defense as well. He is not a rim protector at all. So I think one of the hopes was that maybe he could be a center, but he can't protect the rim. The defense is not good there. I think he can play power forward, and we'll see how well he can do that. He may be a off the bench, high level big, someone like what's the big let's see, Milwaukee Bucks. What's his name? Unless they traded him. What's his name? He was on Team USA. Bobby Portis. I can't remember. I think it might have been someone on Playback. It might have been Lake, actually, talked about that. That Bobby Portis might be a really nice comp for him, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Like a big that can shoot the ball. There's some question marks about the defense, but he can do a lot of different things, and I think that's a great comp. If the Jazz got Bobby Portis in the second round, pretty awesome. Because I think Bobby Portis was like a late first round, middle to late first round pick. So pretty great draft there. And then Isaiah Collier, the offensive, he breaks John Stockton's rookie record for assists. Incredible. He had more assists. When he won Rookie of the Month in February, which was great for a late first round pick, I think it was like the second to last pick in the first round, wins Rookie of the Month. Pretty amazing. He's going to win all rookie, I think. I listened to Zach Lowe. I think he has him on like second team all rookie. This year's all-rookie class, not super impressive, but Filipowski and Collier both have cases to be on the all-rookie team, which is great for late first-round picks, early seconds. Utah drafts at 10. They got unlucky in the lottery, dropped 2 spots, and they drafted Cody Williams, and I'm not going to lie, it looks very busty. Very bust potential right now. It does not look good. It's too timid. He's not shooting, and just flat out not shooting. And lately when he's been shooting, it's been bad. I don't know what happens next. Oh, but flaws for Collier. The shooting. He got better as the season went on, so there's definitely a trajectory there that's nice to see, but he's got to shoot the ball better, or it puts a cap on what he can be. He's also not huge, but I think there's potential there for him to be a solid defender, that he can play within a good team defense, which is not something you can say about a lot of these players. And then Cody Williams, I'll just be honest, there's more flaws than good. Just a lot more flaws than good. It's just reality. I'm a glass half full guy. I am usually very positive. I just, there were a lot of times this season. Sometimes you know what you got to do, guys? Check your gut. What's your gut telling you? What's that deep down feeling that you kind of are, if you're wanting something that that is not working out, and your gut's telling you, I don't know, you got to listen to it. And when your gut, when you're rooting for something and something's going to help it, deep down it's going to help. One of those feelings I got while watching, and maybe you guys got the same thing, but there were times where I wanted this Jazz team to lose, And I legitimately felt in my heart that I would like Cody Williams to get on the court. And that was just my gut talking, you know? It really was. I had some of those feelings with certain players. You know, it is what it is. Utah drafted at 10. It looks like it's not going to work out. That's okay. We can learn from it, though. We can learn from it. And what we learned from it is that we should have been top 4. And in our first season, I hope Taylor Hendricks pans out. I think he actually, out of all the rookies, has potential to be the most important one. And I don't think that's very controversial statement. But there were times where I was a little nervous even about Taylor Hendricks, especially in Summer League, like not really dominating Summer League. And, he looked great those first 2.5 games, and then he broke his leg. And it was really frustrating and rough. And what we're learning from that is that if you want that top tier all around prospect, you have to be in the top 4 or 5 in the draft to ensure it. Can you get a superstar outside of there? Yes, you can. It happens. Teams get lucky here and there. But Utah had 6 picks in the last 2, and it hasn't happened. So everyone who says, oh, you can just draft a Giannis, just draft a Giannis. Like everyone can just do that. Or draft Kawhi outside, everyone can just do that. Just draft that guy. Well, those teams are getting more and more and more sophisticated, including with European teams, including with, like Real Madrid and the Australian NBL and all these different places these players are coming from. It's just very, very sophisticated. With all the technology that goes into this, Second Spectrum and all these different things where teams are able to get really good reporting. The advanced numbers are incredible. I mean, just look at Tankathon. I was doing my big board, and just a quick little glance. I mean, this is like free to everyone on Tankathon. By the way, Tankathon deserves so much credit. But let's say you're just looking at the top point guards in this draft. This is free. But you've got these numbers, and you can just go look. These are their raw stats. You can go look at percentages, 3-point. Obviously, that's easy stuff. But then you've got their advanced stats. It's right here. And this is like the bare minimum. This is free, advanced. You can go and look at this stuff. Dylan Harper. I'm not the biggest fan of this defensive rating. I don't know. What does that mean? You go look at someone like, let's go to the shooting guard here. VJ Edgecombe, by the way, oh my gosh. Look at that. When you compare it to Dylan Harper and that 102.5 defensive rating, a nice 119, he's in the green on offensive, box plus minus. PR. One thing about VJ Edgecombe is it screams like high-level rotation player. Like, you're looking at a potential stud and maybe a star two-way player. And you're probably going to have a chance at him at 4 unless another team surprises. And I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because holy smokes. But anyways, the moral of the story is that you can't just draft these guys randomly. Like, you can get players later that have strengths but also flaws. It's just a fact. And if you want a superstar, you've got to be in that. For the Utah Jazz, 100% an absolute success. Was it tough? Yes, it was tough. If you don't think it was tough, you know who thought it was tough? Me. I am the biggest fan of tanking. I am the biggest fan of this route the Jazz are going on. The only one who, from things I've heard, is as big a fan as me is Danny Ainge. Big fan of the tank. But it's rough. I mean, it's a little bit of Groundhog Day every time with these post-game shows, so I appreciate you guys a ton getting on here. But, I mean, we're talking about the same things, rooting for the same thing, trying to have fun with it and trying to see some silver linings. But, we didn't end up with a star out of the draft yet. We just didn't. And so that means you got to dig deeper. We tried the easy route, and just like in most things and really in all things in life, the easy route didn't pan out. Surprise, surprise. Utah went with 1 foot in the tank and 1 foot in trying to win, and we are now seeing the fruits of that. We don't have a star on our team. We have some players that if they develop certain things, they could become something, you know? Like I'm all in on Keontae George still. I think he has a chance to be an elite scoring guard in the league, and who knows, maybe more. But he's got some serious flaws. If you're looking at championship contenders, Taylor Hendricks is like the most complete two-way player on the Jazz, but he's not a superstar because he's not a ball handler. He's not going to run you a pick and roll. He's not playmaking for others. He's kind of a play finisher at the three-point line. He can do a little bit. We'll see if he can develop more of his game, but and then he looks like a star defensively. Like he has a chance to make all defensive team if he can stay healthy, get enough minutes, and really just ball out on the defensive end. But outside of those two guys, you got nice shooting from Sensabaugh. He's really interesting. Can't stop turning the ball over, and he's not what Utah is a terrible defense, and I didn't see anything from him that made me think he would be a good defender. Filipowski, lots of offensive talent, really incredible, great passing, great IQ, just really complete offensive player. Literally, just can do kind of everything as an offensive big in the NBA. I don't know if he can defend. I don't know. So Utah needs to be doing this, and they did it, and it's great. It took them long enough. We could have had Stephon Castle. I was begging for that guy all season. All you guys that follow the show, I was begging for Stephon Castle. Least surprised person around is me that he turned out to be really nice. He's probably going to win. He might win Rookie of the Year. Sucks. And last year's draft wasn't the greatest. He may not improve as a shooter, but I have no doubt he's going to be a piece for them and awesome. Could have had him. We could have been bad enough last year. Didn't make the trades soon enough. And the season before, we could have had Amen Thompson on this team, guys. It sucks, but it is what it is. He's just looking like Kawhi Leonard on defense on the Houston Rockets and is developing nicely for them. So, anyways, no more spilt milk. I don't want to talk about that anymore because it's now in the past, honestly. And now this season's in the past. It was a complete success. By the way, when we go back to the home here on Tankathon, we can do Spot Track tonight because I believe they got it all fixed. Sorry. Or no, it's the Fanspo trade machine, not Spot Track. Fanspo. Spot Track also great, but Fanspo is the one. Right here. Okay, sorry. I want to set that up because this one is absolutely... Oh my gosh, no! It's not set up. They're so slow. Fanspo rhymes with is fan slow. They have a fun little simulator, but then it not updated. Doggone it. But it will be soon, I'm sure. Anyways, Washington won on a game winner today. What an incredible thing. An incredible thing. We were all depressed a few days ago because the Jazz stupidly won, and they lost this one, and Washington won on a game winner, and Utah did it. I have to say, this, everyone online who says, like, all these people that don't watch the Jazz don't talk about the Jazz, and then they put out a tweet. I saw, I'm not going to name names, but I saw some tweets from people that don't talk about the Jazz, don't watch the Jazz, didn't go through this season like we did, saying like, so sorry for the players that they had to go through this. Oh no. Oh my gosh, the poor players had to go through a losing season. Oh my gosh. No. This is what you do. When you say those things, you out yourself as someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, doesn't understand the NBA, doesn't understand this Utah Jazz team in any way, shape, or form. We are not here for feelings. We are not here for, 15 guys making millions and millions and millions of dollars to play basketball, to feel bad for them. Every single player on this Utah Jazz team had the opportunity to step up into stardom. Every single one. I guess you could, maybe not Taylor Hendricks, but everyone else got all the opportunity in the world. Every single one. And they got paid millions of dollars to do it. And if they didn't do it, that's, if Keontae George made 50% of his twos and 40% of his threes, we'd have been pretty excited. We would have probably made more trades and had to tank even harder than we did, but it didn't happen. Camel Thumb, my gosh, 1999. Thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate it, you guys. The donations are incredible. I really appreciate it. This show is like just a passion project for me. It is what it is. I love it. We're going to do it all off season. I'm going to really push myself because without the playbacks, I'm going to do videos instead. There's no reason why I can't do more work for you guys. So anyways, Camel Thumb, thank you so much. That really means a lot. Cooper Flag. Thanks for all the post games this year, James. You the man. No, Camel Thumb, you're the man. And every single one of you that watches these, that likes them, that subscribes to the channel, and then all the members, thank you so much too. All-stars, starters, and rookies, thank you for all that you do. But Camel Thumb, thank you. That is super generous. I really appreciate it. Sucks the Wolves pick is 21. Yeah, but they were pretty good. I mean, there were some times this year where it looked like they were falling apart, and then stupid Julius Randle improved his shooting. So that sucks a lot. But 21 is going to get us something, Maybe it's that star that all those people that say, oh, you can just draft a star anywhere. Well, then we should just draft a star at 21, right? Right? That's what we should do. And someone call Danny. Tell Danny we just need to draft our superstar at 21. Not at 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? If we can just do that, well, we got both covered. We got the people that don't understand anything and the tankers at the top. We can both be happy now. Because the people that are against the tank can watch us not get a superstar at 21, while the people that were pro the tank can see if we can get that number 1. Oh my gosh. Where was I going? Oh, but the point I wanted to say before Camel Thumb's super incredibly generous offer or donation, I appreciate it. This, for the Utah Jazz to go into a tank like this, shows that they are this is like championship level all in. Because those losers that complain about like, oh, we could have, no, they got paid millions of dollars. They could have stepped up and they didn't. This ain't junior Jazz. This is professional basketball. Utah Jazz, we're in it to win it. Millions of dollars on the line. We're in it to win a championship. Okay? We're not here for feelings. We're not here for making people feel good about themselves like we are in junior Jazz. You know what? I ain't giving little basketballs and take home jerseys to the Jazz players. They're getting millions and millions of dollars to do whatever they want this offseason. The ones who are going to go and improve their game and improve their defense and improve their bodies are the ones that are going to make it long term. So, tough. We're not here for feelings. We're here to win a championship. The tough will rise. The bad will fall off. It's just how it goes. This is how it goes. And Utah is incredibly all in. And you could argue anyone who is opposed to this is not interested in winning a championship, to be honest. Or at least you don't understand it. How many people have to explain what this is all about? How many people that do? And Utah went and got the number 1 pick. They are all in. They were willing to take a $100,000 fine to rest Markkanen. They probably should have just traded him before the season started. But guess what? They are going to do it this offseason. In fact, I was right. I was 100% right on my post games the last 2 seasons on some of my predictions. Do you want my prediction this time? Lauri Markkanen is traded. Absolutely traded. It's done. Utah is going for a top 8 pick, and that is whether they win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes or not. Because Utah knows what they need to do. And I know that Ryan Smith is not the biggest fan of tanking. He's not a fan of it. He's a lot like, kind of reminds me a lot of like the ones that have on Twitter that have season tickets and complain about losing and, oh, it's not fun. As I sit on my front row seat, life has provided me. Guess what? I don't care. Part of the Proletankiat. I love it, Robert Hall of Fame. Workers United. Absolutely. It's time for another regime. And we are here. I am not worried about the oligarchy. We are here to win a championship. We are here to win a championship. We are not worried about season ticket holders on row 4 complaining. No, you guys get to go watch Cooper Flag next year. Deal with it. Enjoy that. You know what you're going to enjoy, season ticket holders, if you hold on to those? A potential championship. And here's how. By the way, $199, super, super generous. Thank you so much, Robert Hall of Fame. And one of the All-Stars. What they're going to enjoy is a potential dynasty, because this is how they are built. Utah has taken the first step. We have finally taken the first step. It is the first time in Utah Jazz history that they have finished a season with less than 20 wins. They are the only team in NBA history to not have a season below 20 wins. The first team in NBA history. Now, there is not a single team in NBA history that has not won less than 20 games. It's because for the last 40 years for this Utah Jazz team, they have always done everything they could to just be relevant. That was the goal, to be relevant. They just want to be a nice team. You know, they had Stockton and Malone, 2 all-NBA players, and they went to a championship. That's what you have to do. If you want to make it to a championship, you need 2 all-NBA players, or 1 MVP and 1 player that's close to all-NBA. It's what it takes. It's what it takes. Lowry is not all-NBA. He's not. And he's getting paid all-NBA money, and he's not an all-NBA player. So, you know, it's just how it's going to go for this Jazz team. We are not the Jedi. We are the Sith now. That Jedi was nice, but that Jedi Order has fallen. It didn't work. Too many corruptions going on in the Jedi Order that led to a lot of poor decisions, a lot of feel-goody things. What we need is the Sith. What we need is to cut out the weakness and go to the top. But that's exactly how this goes, and you've got to have that mentality if you want to win a championship. It's what it takes. Now, we need a little luck. We need a little use of the Force during the lottery balls, so our 4-number combination works. And that's what we got to go. Jazz had shame until this year. It's really true, though. It's really true, guys. The last 40 years has been the Jazz just trying to be relevant. They're trying to be the Kings or the current Bulls or all these teams that just never go anywhere. They never go anywhere because they always just kind of do the quick and easy fix that never leads to a championship. It just doesn't. You just don't get it. The Kings are never going to win a championship. Sorry, Kings fans. You are literally never, ever, ever going to win a championship. Ever. Ever. It's not going to happen. Unless you have that superstar on your team with a superstar sidekick. That's how it goes. And they will never get it. It's just a fact. And Utah, had they not done this, would be on a track to never, ever winning it either. For my entire life. Would just kind of be able to predict that we'll never win a championship. Sure, we can be fun. Sure, we can win some games. Sure, we can go to the playoffs. Not winning a title. Now we have a chance. Now the Jazz have a chance. A real chance. Now, May 12th is going to say a lot. And if Utah wins on May 12th, holy smokes. Holy smokes. And I'm including top 4 because you got to get like 2 top 3 picks. Utah, I mean, it's going to be such a bummer if Utah falls to 5, but at least they'll be at 5. You know, Asar Thompson went 5, and he's looking like an incredible piece for the Detroit Pistons. Utah needs to get that top 3. If they win 1, guys, we're having a party. We're going to Trolley Wing Co. We're going to eat spicy wings, and we're going to celebrate together. SLC Dunk, Hoops Nerd, the Prolatanka lot will be together, and we will celebrate. And then next year we've got Cooper Flag, and you need his sidekick. And I don't know if we have that on our team. We have some potential really nice role players. Taylor Hendricks. I don't know what's going to happen with Walker Kessler. I don't know. I think it's 75-25. He's on the team next year, but that's a lot of money that might be going to Walker Kessler for a non-All-NBA player as well, right? I don't think he's even making all defense this year. I listened to all the different national pods. I'm not hearing people talk about Walker Kessler for all defense. There's a conversation that needs to be had for this Utah Jazz team. I really love what Walker Kessler brings to the table, and he does a lot of nice things. But I don't know if he's worth the money that he potentially might get. And Utah, here's the thing. Utah had the worst defense in the NBA this year. I think they might have had the worst defense in history. And Walker Kessler, I know they didn't play all season, and Utah manufactured lineups, their front office, so they would lose these games, which is basically completely removing all rim protection whatsoever, and that was basically when they rested Walker Kessler. But even when Walker Kessler played, and I need to maybe do some research on that. I've got to figure out how to filter. But Utah had like the worst net rating in history this year. And that was because of the defense. Utah lost this season because of bad defense. And Walker Kessler was a part of that. I've got just some questions. I've got some, that gut feeling we were talking about earlier in the show? Like, there's something nagging at me a little bit. I know the rim protection is good, but sometimes I don't know. I get a little nervous, a little worried that we're looking at Hassan Whiteside sometimes. There's the Hassan Whiteside and the Rudy Gobert. And the Rudy Gobert is winning you because the numbers match the eye test and the advanced numbers are great. And the defensive rating is great. But then you've got guys like Hassan Whiteside who gets lots of block numbers. There are times where the rim protection looks pretty decent. And he looks the part, and he's a little more skilled than Rudy Gobert, but he doesn't have the impact he does. And I'm wondering, trying to get in frame here. Rudy Gobert, Hassan Whiteside, is he more here or is he more here? And I don't know. I know the Jazz really liked what he did, but I'm not sure on him. And I would, if there's a team out there, and the thing is Utah's never refuted any trade rumors. When you got trade rumors for Karl Malone or John Stockton, you're coming out and you're saying something like, this is ridiculous, And the thing that people need to realize about trade rumors is they're used to make something happen, or they usually come from sources trying to, that is just basically what it is. Someone's trying to make something happen or trying to kind of strong arm somebody. The question always is where does it come from? You've got agents, you've got team personnel, and you've got opposing team personnel. So it's really, really obvious, and I don't know this for a fact, but I've done this for a while, and I can sniff these things out pretty well. But those rumors, and I do have a network that I'm a part of with SLC Dunk that I sometimes can talk to people who do have connections. But anyways, some of the things that it's a little educated here, but a lot of those rumors for me 100% came from Golden State, because who wanted Lauri Markkanen? Golden State. They really did. Although we got some interesting rumors out of the fact that we got any rumors out of San Antonio at all makes me think that they were part of that too. We got stuff going on in the laundry room. But anyways, so I think the San Antonio Spurs have legit interest in Lauri Markkanen. I wouldn't be surprised if they go after him. We've also got the Golden State Warriors, although I don't know if they'll be in on it because they went and got Jimmy Butler. And they're much better with Jimmy Butler. So I don't know if they're going to be in this. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs kind of come after Lauri Markkanen, especially with the Spurs having, the 8 pick in this draft. They've got Wembanyama. Stephon Castle looks great. They got De'Aaron Fox. I could see the San Antonio Spurs making a run for Lauri Markkanen. So anyways, that's going to be the question, but I'm pretty sure Lowry's going to go. And then there's Walker Kessler. There might be some teams out there that really might be interested in getting him, knowing that they can do, Utah could do a sign and trade with Walker Kessler. He's a potential sign and trade candidate. But the thing for Utah, and this is something that's been reported out there, it's been reported, and I've also heard little whispers and things, but Utah wants to keep that top 8 pick. They want to keep that. And what I'm talking about is, so this year Utah keeps their pick because it's top 10 protected, right? That means that protection, and this all comes from the Derek Favors trade, moves to next season. It becomes top 8 protected. So Utah, if they want to keep their pick next year, and that pick next year is even more important than this one, because if they don't keep their pick, they don't get any picks next year. Next year, Utah gets 0 picks, and that includes the pick swaps with Minnesota, and they traded their pick swap, or no, actually not the pick swap. They traded the following year's worst pick. I can't remember. That might be included next year. Anyways, if Utah if they're not in the top 8, they lose their pick swaps that they have and their pick, and that pick goes to Oklahoma City next year. Utah wants to keep that pick. That's been reported. Those are the whispers. I just would be shocked if Utah doesn't go for it, because that's what they're saying. That's what's going on behind closed doors. You can't do that with Lauri Markkanen playing. If you win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes and you play Lauri Markkanen, Utah might be pretty decent. Like, you can just talk yourself through that, by the way. Let's just talk about it. If it's Utah Jazz choose your own adventure, you've got Utah. Let's say Utah wins the Cooper Flag sweepstakes and we all just have an absolute party, and we should. They're probably better than bottom 8 if they keep Lauri Markkanen. Like, let's say, what's your starting unit next year? You've got, Cooper Flag, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler. That means you probably have John Collins coming off the bench. You have Isaiah Collier that's probably going to start. You have Colin Sexton still on the team. You've got Jordan Clarkson. ESPN reporting Lowry to Blazers, maybe. Maybe. That's an interesting fit. It's just, what are you getting back? Because Utah, if they trade for Jeremy Grant, he's a solid NBA rotation player. We'll see. Maybe. Thank you for the $1.99, Robert Hall. But that's a team that's better than bottom 8. But then the question is, how much better? Like, just look at these. Let's go to the playoff standings. Playoff bracket. So here is the Western Conference right here. Do we think that Utah, with Lauri Markkanen and a rookie Cooper Flag, who will be good? Cooper Flag's going to be good. Don't bet against him being rookie of the year. I think Dylan Harper might have a shot, because if he's on a team that plays him a lot, he's going to put up numbers for sure. Like, Dylan Harper is going to be pretty interesting next year. So if you get 2 or 3, you're pretty excited. But I think Cooper Flag, if he gets to play, and I think Utah, if they got Cooper Flag, would play him starting small forward for the next 10 years. And that's going to be incredible. And he could put some serious numbers down with just points, assists, rebounds. We'll have a guy that can get triple doubles. Like, the first since like AK-47, we can have triple doubles again. And even AK didn't always do that. But do we think that the Jazz next year would be better than the Timberwolves with, another year, Anthony Edwards? I don't know what's going to happen with Naz Reid, by the way. Maybe they get worse, but Anthony Edwards is amazing. Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, all these guys. That's a good team. I don't think Utah's better than them. Better than the Clippers with Kawhi and how well they've played this year? Probably not. Not yet, at least. Better than Jokic and the Nuggets? Probably not there yet. Now it's something interesting. We go from the top. Not better than the Rockets. By the way, the Rockets, who never won a number 1 pick, and they're the number 2 seed. Right? Interesting. They had a top 3 pick last year, and they had a number 2 pick the year before. Jalen Green. That 3 pick with Amen Thompson, or that 4 pick with Amen Thompson, looks like the best of all of those. So if you can just get top 4, guys, come on, Jazz. Let's get some luck. Then Utah has the first piece of actually potentially building. And And then are the Jazz better with that team than the Grizzlies? Probably not. Better than the Warriors with Steph, and I think the Steph, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, they're probably going to be pretty decent next year. They're going to be older, so you never know, but this is where you start to see, like, maybe they're in this range. Maybe. Could they beat the Dallas Mavericks? I think they might be in this 10 range. I think they could be potentially as good as the Kings if they're going for it. But this is kind of where you're going to be if Utah completely goes for it, right? And then if you consider where they're sitting in the draft, so then you're looking at 12, Dallas Mavericks. This is kind of where 14. You've got Cooper Flagg, you've got Lauri Markkanen. You're not a very good defense yet, and you don't. And Keontae George, from things I've heard, I can't remember where I heard it, but probably rotation players, but they're probably coming off the bench on a championship team, and that's if they really develop, right? Like Keontae George has to shoot the ball better and has to play defense. And Isaiah Collier has to shoot the ball much better if he wants to be there. Filipowski's got to play some defense. I think Filipowski has a real shot to be a rotation player of the future. Taylor Hendricks, but this Jazz team's probably in that range if they go for it next year. That's not good enough, and that's just barely above 8. So you lose your pick. You're not getting anyone to fill the gaps. Guys, we're going to be bottom 8 next year. Lauri Markkanen's going to get moved. Utah is going to watch how things are kind of panning out, but I don't know if Walker Kessler's on the team next year. And Utah has to be more proactive because the Lauri Markkanen contract is already getting talked of as one of the top 10 worst contracts in the league. He shot 35% from 3 this year. Right? And at a certain point, if he was shooting the ball better, then things might have been a little bit interesting this year, but he didn't. He shot at 35%. And I'm not in this excuses game. I'm just not. I give excuses for young players, but after 2 years, next year, not a lot of excuses left for certain players on this Jazz team, like Keontae George, Sensabaugh. Those guys have to prove it. It's at year 3, we're getting into the range where we kind of have a pretty decent idea of what you are. And, we saw Walker Kessler have a bounce-back season, but we got to see that from Keontae George. And he might have a bounce-back year, and it might be amazing. But it's prove-it time. And you know what? Lauri Markkanen got an opportunity to do a lot of different things this year, and it didn't work. We got those articles that said that Lauri Markkanen was being allowed to, shoot the different shots that he normally doesn't take. He got a chance to work on his game in different ways he hasn't been able to before. Didn't work. He shot 35% from 3. That's just a reality. And, Walker Kessler, as much as I love the guy, and he's really fun, and he's a great rim protector, and I do think he leans a little more Rudy Gobert than Hassan Whiteside defensively, he also is not hitting his free throws at a high enough rate. The Jazz had him shooting threes at one point to just try it and gave him a shot, and he couldn't make them. And there is an argument for someone like Malawach to be drafted because there's a prototype for a lot of these championship teams where they have a stretch 5 that can protect the rim. That is an incredibly valuable player type. Honestly, it might be the second most important after having a star wing. A star wing is what wins you a championship. It's just a fact. If you have a top 5 player in the NBA, it's why, I'm not a big fan of Luka Doncic. I wouldn't have traded him for what the Mavericks got back. But he's the prototype, The players that on the wing are ones that win you championships. You can argue what Giannis is, but he plays from the outside in. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, all these different players are playing from the wing in. I guess there's a few exceptions there where you've got Steph Curry, but he's only the greatest scoring guard in the history of the NBA. So that's all you need if you don't have a star wing is the best shooter in the history of basketball on this planet is, I guess, the exception. So that's all you need. Anyways, Utah needs that wing. They have a potential to go get it. And that's why I think you got to look at Ace Bailey if you don't get Cooper Flagg. because he has that potential. But there's some flaws there. And so it's going to be interesting. Utah just has to win the lottery. If we win the lottery on May 12th, though, guys, here's what I'm saying, and you tank next year, then you have a chance at a draft with like 4 stars at the top. The top of next year's draft is looking incredible. And it looks like there's the 4, when I say 4, it looks like there's that other player, I forgot his name, that might be reclassifying to go into this draft next year. Utah has a shot at Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, or Cam Boozer to pair with whoever they get in this draft. And it's pretty remarkable. I saw Jonathan Wasserman compared Cam Boozer the other day. He said that it's a pretty hallowed name. He said he has comparisons to Tim Duncan. That's crazy. But a lot of people love Cam Boozer, and when you watch him, all he does is just produce. He just wins basketball games, and that's kind of like what Tim Duncan did. Could you imagine if the Jazz drafted a player of that caliber and paired, like if Utah wins the Cooper Flag sweepstakes and then goes into the draft next year, and Cam Boozer is not even slated to go number 1 or 2. You get him at 3. Could you imagine pairing someone like that with Cooper Flag? This is what we're talking about. We're not just talking about tanking to be cute and fun next year. We're talking dynasty. Do you remember in Toy Story? And I like this analogy because I think there's some Jazz fans that are like Woody. Remember at the very end when Buzz Lightyear overcomes his like self-doubt and realizes what he actually is and who he actually is and overcomes it. Toy Story is one of the best movies ever made. It really is truly incredible. But you remember at the end, they get the rocket lit on the back of Buzz Lightyear, and they're flying above the moving truck. And remember, there's the moving truck, and Buzz Lightyear's flying, and he's holding Woody, and Woody's like excited because they're going to get into the moving truck back to where they belong. And then all of a sudden, they keep going. And Woody's like, "What are you doing? The moving truck's right there." And Buzz Lightyear says, "That's not what I'm aiming for, right? That's not what we're aiming for. He's aiming for the car ahead. He's aiming to be with Andy. He's aiming for a championship." And that's what next season is going to be about, top 8 pick. Because if you get top 3 this year, if you get top 3 next year, you're looking at not just potential championship, but then you're talking like if those 2 players pan out like people think they do, you're looking at potential dynasty stuff, maybe multiple championships. How nice would that be? How nice would that be to have a potential chance at multiple championships? This is what the Jazz are going for. We're not just going for cuteness. We're not just going for play-in to be 9 or 10 and win some games and everyone has a lot of fun and oh shucks, we lost again, but at least we had some fun, right? Well, Utah can be in this range and that's fun, but Utah's going for Andy's spot next to Andy. They're going for a championship, and that means next year too. And next year is going to be even more fun. Here's why I think it's going to be both one of the more productive tanks of all time. They're going to trade Lauri Markkanen. We'll see what happens with Walker Kessler, but I think there's going to be some teams out there willing to give what Utah's asking, because here's one thing that quietly happened that I don't think we've talked about enough, and maybe I need to talk about it. But Utah did an incredible job of upping Walker Kessler's trade value this year. He's either going to be 2 nice first-round picks, and what makes him super valuable is that he's on rookie contract. And so there's going to be teams out there that are like, we can get this guy for years who's on a rookie contract, then that we have his bird rights. Well, I don't know if they have, I don't know the exact, they don't, what they can, I don't know if bird rights counts with that, because I think you have to have drafted them. Anyways, if they get Walker Kessler, it means they have him on his rookie scale, and then they can sign him and go over the cap if they want. That is how they can deal with the cap. So it makes his contract so valuable this offseason. Yes, he's a drop big, so the player type is not someone that, you know, all teams are going to be able to win with, but there are teams that might be like, you know, we've got a superstar and we just need a high-level big, and he's on a rookie scale so that we can go for it for the next few years, and that's who makes the trade with the Jazz. Someone gives them something crazy like that. Now, I don't want to give Luka Doncic I don't want to give Walker Kessler to the Lakers and pair him with Luka Doncic because we want that pick to be bad in 27. And I actually think that pick in 27 might be pretty decent still, just off of some things I'm looking at, because that's after next year. That's 2 years from now. That's 2 years of LeBron James getting older. Do we really think that Luka Doncic is going to stop eating Doritos and playing Overwatch? I don't think so. So, anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them. But anyways, next season is going to be a lot of fun because we'll get this draft pick. I have a very good feeling we'll be top 4. And if we get number 1, how incredible is Summer League going to be next year if Utah wins the number 1 pick and gets Cooper Flag? I mean, are you serial? Can you imagine how fun Utah Jazz Summer League is going to be? It's going to be electric. Everyone will be in Salt Lake City. Everyone. ESPN, TNT. I can't remember. Is NBA on NBC starts next year? I don't know. It might be. How fun is next year going to be? NBA on NBC? Start the music, baby. That's going to hit different. But if Utah gets Cooper Flag, they are going to clear the deck, go all young, let Cooper Flag just have all the run in the world, win Rookie of the Year. They're going to go for it at least. But they're also going to lose some games. And that's the key because they've got to be in this range. They've got to get a teammate for Cooper Flag. Batman needs Robin. It's just how you win the NBA. You need your Batman, and then you need Robin, and then you go for it. And here's what's going to happen the following season. So Utah is going to be bad next year. That's my prediction. The tea leaves are screaming that. Whatever intel, everything. That's what it screams. But the following year, probably not. The following year is when Jordan Clarkson's contract falls off. John Collins' contract falls off. Colin Sexton's contract falls off. Did I say Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton? I think so. And the Jazz are open. And they're open for business. Utah can re-sign whatever rookies that pan out, or they can just not worry about it. They can go out and make a trade. So let's say you got Cooper Flag and Cam Boozer. How freaking fun would that be? And then you say, well, we need a guard. We just need a point. You go out and you make a trade, or you go free agency and you get the best guy available. And that fits your fill in the blanks. At that point, Utah is just doing team building based off of the needs of their 2 stars, like the Boston Celtics do with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They went out and traded for Drew Holiday. They went out and traded for Derek White. You go out and you make a trade for a player like that to fill the gaps with your 2 stars, but you cannot do it unless you do what the Jazz did now. Utah has the best chance they've ever had at the number 1 pick now. And if they win it, it's incredible. It's only 14%, but it's better than everyone else. It's only 14% for Washington as well, Charlotte as well. And it's what is it? 12% for Philadelphia and so on. So yes, it's 14%, but it's better odds than anyone else outside of Washington and Charlotte. And it's also a secure 100% top 5 pick for Utah. So even if they don't get the number 1 pick, they are going to get someone nice. I got to start watching Trey Johnson film because he might be the guy they need to go draft. I don't know. There's some stuff with him that makes me a little nervous, like only 1 steal per game, 0.3 blocks. The assist and rebounds are not great, but he can certainly score. Makes me a little worried because Utah's been drafting these guys a lot of guards. I need a wing. That's why someone like Konkanopel might be someone you look at. Not blocking shots, but he steals, and his defensive advanced numbers are actually pretty darn good. The question is that because you're playing next to Cooper Flag and Common Malwatch? I don't know. But anyways, things are looking pretty good for Utah. And if you're at 5, then you get the best choice of all these players, at the very least. It's going to suck if that happens. That sucks. But at least you get the best choice out of all these guys. And Utah might be willing to trade up. Who knows? You're not going to get Cooper Flag. But maybe there's a team that's like, we want Trey Johnson and we know we can get him at 5. We'll trade VJ Edgecombe. I don't know. And crazy things happen. Sometimes these teams, they might make a crazy move. We'll see. Maybe Trey Johnson jumps. I don't know. Anyways, Guys, it's been a really fun season. I think that's it. I kind of thought about some things for this, but I'm happy with what we've talked about. 54 minutes. Holy cow. Guys, free Darko. Exactly. That's a good example. You know, sometimes teams make crazy decisions, and, you know, I don't know. It's crazy. If Phoenix jumps, here's the teams I don't want to jump. Sorry. Number 1, I do not want San Antonio to win the number 1 pick. That is the team I do not want to win it, because like we said, then they have dynasty on their hands with like a combo of Cooper Flagg and Victor Wembanyama. Are you kidding me? No thanks. Number 2, I do not want Phoenix, because that would hurt my feelings if Houston gets another top pick from someone else jumping. Like, that would break my heart. 100%. I think the Sacramento Kings pick, I don't know. Yeah, imagine being a Kings fan. Holy crap. Is this really Atlanta Hawks incoming from, it's protected 1 through 12. Sacramento's so stupid. Oh my gosh. Atlanta's going to get a pick. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That makes me mad. Some of these teams are so stupid. They're so stupid. By the way, Sacramento, a team that was interested in Lauri Markkanen. Can we fleece them, please? Atlanta's getting a lottery pick from Sacramento, and that pick's protected 1 through 12. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. And maybe I'm reading that wrong. I don't know. That's certainly crazy. Houston's getting a Phoenix pick. Is this protected? Unprotected. Oh my gosh. We could be like the Phoenix. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is crazy. So Utah, I don't know. Next year they got to do this. We need a Robin. That's it. That's the moral of the story. All right. Well, guys, it's the last game of the season. It's been a lot of fun. It's the beginning, not the end, though. This is the beginning, not the end. No need to say goodbye. No need to say goodbye. Nope, because we are going to be doing more videos. And we've got the lottery coming up. I'm the most excited I've ever been for the lottery. I'm also the most nervous because everything's on the line. Oh my gosh. If we win, oh my heavens. Do you know how many people said tanking doesn't work to me? Or Utah's not going to win the number 1 pick? If we win, I'm going to come after every single one. If we don't, then I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet, and I'm sure everyone will make a comment to me. But if we get a top 2, top 3, top 4 pick, I'm really excited. Like, really excited. All right, let's open this up here. Let's pull this over here. Let's see. It's the last time this season, though. It is kind of sad. It's always kind of sad at the end. Because I like doing the post. Oh, wrong one. I always enjoy doing these post-game videos, and I certainly just enjoy talking to you guys. This is one of my favorite things I do. It's my hobby. I love doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. All right. The lottery is May 12th. Let's say it's May 12th. What's going to happen? Utah has that number 1 spot. It's the final draw of the season on Tankathon. What's going to happen, guys? All right, let's see. Who's nervous? Me. I'm nervous. Let's see. This happens every time. I do not believe in the Tankathon one at all. Of course, Phoenix jumps to 3, Portland to 1, Utah to 5. Kiss my booty. That is not happening. You know what? I don't even care. I'm going to... This one, we're doing dramatic final doing it now. I don't care. All right. 14, Dallas. Atlanta. Bulls stay. Heat. Rockets stay. So they don't. So Phoenix doesn't jump. Portland. The Spurs don't jump. OKC, so someone jumped because OKC gets, oh, that means 2 jumped. Utah stays top 4. Utah gets the 4 pick. BJ Edgecombe coming to Utah. The ones who jump are the Toronto Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets. Philadelphia. Phenomenal. Car Wash Channel, $4.99. I'm excited to hear again the NBA NBC intro song again this fall. That's going to be so sweet, Car Wash. Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel. I love it. New season starts this October. Absolutely. Car Wash Channel, thank you so much for the donations. Coming in at the end, buzzer beaters. Thank you so much, Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel. I really appreciate it. Super so much. All right. If we get top 4, I'm happy. All right, let's give a shout out to the All-Stars. A shout out to Christian House Money to Haas, Robert Hall of Fame, Cam Bam, thank you, ma'am, Ryan Edward Perry, the legend, I Believe in Steve Jazz Exile, Suya Lexalator, Jordan the Goat Best Roll, Austin R. Grant Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5 the OG, and Patrick Akubo, the Connoisseur. Guys, it's over. It's over. It's over. The season's done. Utah Jazz, they did it. They're number 1 for now. Do we get screwed or do we get elation? We will find out come lottery night, May 12th. We've also got draft things to do. I'm going to do some big boards. Why not? Why not? I got topics to talk about, things that I talked about this season that have to be dissected. We're going to talk about it all. Guys, like and subscribe to the Jazz, or to the Jazz, I guess, if you want to. Also to the Hoops Nerd YouTube channel, the channel where honesty and uncensored opinion and thought come. And go to slcdunk.com every day. Make it a part of your routine. Guys, I will talk to you